All right. Give me a second. Let me get people in here. Looking for these precepts you had as. I need 1 Timothy 5 and 8. You can write those down. I'm gonna ask you for them. 1 Timothy 3 and 5. Just put on after that. It's on. Like OWN. That's not all the way on the topic. Genesis 2 and 24. Let's see. Golly, they got the whole. All right. It's one more I'm looking for, though. See if I can find it real quick. And then we'll go ahead and get the class started. If anybody want to call in, it's 305-985-5453. 305-985-5453. Could you go ahead and call that number? You might get the music until I call in. Got a troop in Orlando in class. Was that great? All right. It's another one though. It's another one. Let me find it real quick, because I don't want to do it without this verse. So let me find it real quick. All right, so this is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. We started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, back in 1969. We are under commanding General Yohanan, Precinct Officer Kazak Tamar, ISUPK, Jacksonville, Florida. We're in the 103rd Library, where we're going to be probably 2 Mondays out the month. Other 2 will be at Brentwood Library. Right now, we're going to get into the class. We'll start with any questions. Anybody online got any questions, you can go ahead and ask those questions. One of the questions the brother already asked was in reference to child support, which is an interesting question. Is child support in the Bible? Is child support lawful? Guess we'll find out, right? Here's the problem with child support and why it's not in the Bible. Because of Genesis, give me Genesis 2 and 24 real quick. I will start there. Go ahead.
Come. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
Here's the thing, right? In the Bible, marriage was a union that took place between a man and a woman, and it was supposed to be forever. In this scripture, you'll see in Genesis 2:24 that a man and a man would cleave to his wife, and they would become one flesh. Now, in the times we live in, right, a marriage can be for 3 years, 6 months, 10 years, 15 years, and then it comes to an end, and then somebody go marry somebody else. The reason why child support ain't really a big deal in the Bible is because the family stayed together, right? You know what I'm saying? So now when you're talking about supporting your children, you were with your children and your wife. So that wasn't a big issue then. If people really became one flesh as opposed to like, this is the person I'm dealing with, this is my new boyfriend, this is my new boyfriend, and every time it changed, this is my new girlfriend, this is my new wife, this is my, and the things change, then now you got to decide how you deal with the people that you used to be with, that you got children with, and that you're not with anymore, right? You do have times or instances like that in the Bible when Ishmael, right? That would be a scenario where Abraham married Hagar, had a child, and the Lord told Abraham to do what? Anybody know? Kanal, let me know in the chat if you called in already. You don't know? Go to the scriptures and see. I didn't even look this up. This is going to be Genesis 21. Genesis 21. Let's go there real quick. Give me a verse 9. Genesis 21:9.
Come. Genesis chapter 21, verse 9. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son.
Right. Now, keep in mind, Sarah gave Abraham this wife. Keep in mind, right? She said, the Lord had came to me and showed me a vision that you was going to have a son and that your son would be the progenitor of many nations. Being that I'm an old lady and I don't think that I'm going to be able to do it for you, you should have my handmaid Hagar so that she can have you a son and that the things that the Lord told me would be true. So Abraham went in to Hagar, they had Ishmael. But that ain't what the Lord told Sarah, and that is not what the Lord told Abraham. So now the child is born. Come to find out, Sarah has Isaac, and down the line, she like, well, wait a minute. I got the son now, but she got the son that was born first, which will inherit all of Abraham's lineage, or his inheritance goes to the firstborn son. That's Israelite culture, right? And he's the beginning of it. So now she mad. He got this, what they would call in today's time, what they call it, an illegitimate child, right? There's no such thing as an illegitimate child. Let's get that straight, right? You say a bastard child? Is that what they would call it? A bastard? Get this bastard out of here. Well, what would she call her? Hagar? Because she gave her Hagar. So in verse 9, it says, and Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. So she didn't want what's his name? Not Isaac. Ishmael. She didn't want Ishmael to get any of the inheritance from Abraham along with Isaac. That's what she's saying. Go to verse 11.
Come on. Verse 11. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman, and all that Sarah hath said unto thee. Hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Now, this is not normal. This is strange. But what happened was, this particular time, the Lord came and told this man to listen to his wife. As usually is not the case. Usually your woman is telling you not to listen to God. At this time, God told him, listen to your woman. Now, that's cool sometimes, right? That could be cool sometimes. For the most part, don't nobody want to listen to their damn woman. But you do want to listen to the Most High. And if at all the Lord tells you to listen to your woman, just do what the Lord said and listen to your woman. All right? So, anyways, the Lord was with Sarah as far as telling him to get rid of or cast out the bondwoman and her child, because this was a marriage that was not ordained by the Most High. Now, it wasn't a sin. It wasn't against the law for him to marry another woman or have another wife or whatever the case may be. But it was him listening to his woman in order to get there, because she the one said, I can't have kids. You might as well go ahead and marry this woman Hagar and have this child. Not the Most High in the beginning. Y'all follow me, right? So now God told him, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad and because of the bondwoman. And all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Go to verse 13.
Come on. Yep. Verse 13. And also the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread.
What?
And Abraham woke up early. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread.
He took bread.
And a bottle of water.
And a bottle of water.
And gave it unto Hagar.
Right.
Putting it on her shoulder.
Now, what is Abraham doing right now?
Putting her out the house.
What is he also doing?
Supporting her and the child.
Supporting her and the child. He didn't just get rid of her and say, hey, I ain't got nothing to do with y'all. This is what I got right now. This is what I'm going to give you. Now, they ain't had the courts in that particular time to come to Abraham with Janet Reno and all these other people to say, Abraham, we're going to deduct $500 out of your check every week until your child is 18 years old. They didn't have that. So what he had at that moment, he gave in support of the woman and the child, and he did what the Lord told him to do. Right? Go ahead.
And the child, and sent her away, and she departed, and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. Verse 15. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him.
So this is what she was thinking. Now that he's cast her off, right? And this was her job. So she lost her job and her man at the same time. Miss Independent. Independent. Now she on her own. She like, what am I going to do? So she really thinking about throwing the baby away. Keep going.
Come. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad. And the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said unto her, What aileth thee, Hagar?
Mm-hmm.
Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is.
Mm.
Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thy hand, for I will make him a great nation.
There it is right there. So, like, even though that Abraham was not going to be actively a part of this child's life, the Lord had this child because the Most High understood that this child was the son of Abraham, whom he had given promises. So it's not the same promises that Isaac would get, because Isaac was the child that the Lord was talking about when he made the promises. But therefore, that child would not starve to death. That woman would not be in the wilderness without any help. You understand? The Lord had Hagar's back in the sense of she was only doing what she was told to do. Go ahead.
And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad drink.
So out of nowhere, here comes a well. The door is going. Here's my point why I'm bringing this out, right? You do have a responsibility, as anybody has a responsibility if you create a child, to take care of that child. Here's the thing, though. You ain't really in no position to even take care of yourself. It's the Lord that's feeding you. You lose your job tomorrow, you ain't going to be able to live. So what you have to understand is, like, first thing what I brought out, this was never supposed to be this way. A man and a woman was never supposed to. Marriage is supposed to be forever. In the times that we living in now, what we doing is creating scenarios that we would have never had been in had we followed the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and not our own lust. Now, in today's time, people have sex with people that they do not intend on staying with for the rest of their life. This is why we say what we say now in here. To try to get back to where we were supposed to be, you should give somebody a nice, good little bit of time for you to say either this is a woman or a man that I would love to spend the rest of my life with, or I am never going to touch them, and we should be brothers and sisters. You understand, right? So when you're having a conversation with somebody in the world about child support, 9 times out of 10, the reason they're in the situation they're in is because they had sex with somebody before they figured out whether they even liked them. That's what it is. That's how it works. I know brothers that did not find out that they hated the woman they had kids with until after they had 2 or 3 kids already. Like, how is that possible? This could be negated by a statement that says, give somebody at least 6 months to a year before you just marry them, no matter how sexy they are to you, no matter how attractive you are to them. Give them a little bit of time where you can see them mad, upset, where you can see them out of their element, having a bad day. And if you can still deal with them in those instances, then maybe it might be a good idea. How can you build with them? What do they want out of life? All of these things should be taken care of ahead of time. The problem is we put the cart before the horse. Now we got to talk about child support. So child support is not an idea in the Bible. Child support was come up with because 9 times out of 10, if the man and the woman do not deal with each other, then the man ain't going to have nothing to do with the woman, and therefore will not do what he's supposed to do as far as taking care of the child, right? Most men you talk to will say they wanted to be a part of their child's life. It was the mother that kept them away from it. I hear these stories all the time. Most women that you talk to will say that his man ain't going to have nothing to do with his child, so she had to go to the courts in order to get him. Now, here's what I'm saying. What type of woman you sleeping with that ain't going to want you to see your child? You should check yourself. What type of man you sleeping with that don't want to take care of his kids? You should check yourself. The bottom line is we got to check ourselves in these situations before now we got to go to our oppressor and ask them to fix a family issue when they care about neither the man, the woman, or the child. You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't care about the man, the woman, or the child. And also they have an invested interest in this man going to prison more than they have of this man taking care of his child. So here I'll give you a couple other scriptures and we'll go there. Give me the one the first one I gave you. That's in Timothy.
First Timothy, chapter 5, verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
Whoa. Read it again.
First Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. If any provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
What is an infidel? Anybody know? Because it says worse than an infidel. See what I'm looking at, right? Let's see if it's in here. Well, I don't see it. All right, it ain't in here. So we look for it in Merriam-Webster. Infidel. Merriam-Webster dictionary. One who is not a Christian or who opposes Christianity. An unbeliever with respect to a particular religion. One who acknowledges no religious belief. A disbeliever in something specified or understood. Yep.
Am I an infidel? Because I don't believe nothing in Christian church is.
Yeah, but it doesn't say nothing about a Christian church. It says Christianity. The original Christians follow everything Christ said to do. Just because they took the name don't mean that they took the idea. And in 1 Timothy chapter 5, it says, but if any provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, he have denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Now, break that down for me, Officer Yamian.
That's pretty much cut and dry. If a man doesn't support like his own children, one that came from him of his own house, and he says he has denied the faith, which means he's well, that's unbrotherly.
That's the word I was looking for right there. That's the word I was looking for. See, I'll give you an example. Let me see if I can find this thing in Baruch. Right? You familiar with the story in Baruch before Baruch? Hold on. Go ahead and break it down again.
I mean, to not support your own child is unbrotherly.
Mm-hmm.
And say,
Go to the scripture and like break it down according to the like if you was teaching the class, how would you break it down? And make sure you explain it like nobody knows what you're talking about. Like you talking to your son.
All right, 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. If any man provide not for his own. Again, like I said, for a man to have a child or children and to do nothing for them. And those are the kids from him, which means that those are the kids of his own house. He have denied the faith, and he denied everything that the principles that the Most High accept was, which again.
Okay, if we just put it on the Christian part, how would you explain it? Something I'm trying to get to.
That'll be unchristian. It's not Christian like.
No, you in the truth.
Okay.
Explain it to me. I'm gonna show you what I'm looking for, so you ain't got to think about it too long. You said it, but you ain't said it the way that I would have said it. He has denied everything that Christ taught us. What did Christ teach?
To love thy brother.
Which includes who? But if I say love your brother, who does it also include?
Christ.
No. Who does it also include? Who am I leaving out if I say love my brother?
Sisters.
So you don't gotta love your sister? Right. So when you say love your brother, you are also talking about sisters. Here's the problem, that people don't see the women that they lay with as their family. Sisters don't see the dude that they lay with as their brother first before they ever deal with them. So now you don't treat them as your family. People don't look at the man that they sleeping with as their husband or wife or whatever the case may be. The point is they lack brotherhood when it comes to how they deal with them. What we teaching here is what Christ taught, brotherhood. When he was talking about turning the other cheek and forgiveness and all of that, he was talking about how we treat each other, not how we treat other people outside of our family. So if Yamayan piss me off, I go to him and him alone and we get it together. And at some point, if he do it 15 times a day, I got to forgive him because that's my brother. Well, nobody thinks about that when they talk about their baby daddy or their baby mama. All that's out the window. Everything about Christ and the Lord, everything goes out of the window when it comes to that person that they laid down with and had sex and had a child with. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem. So this is why we got to go to the oppressor to make a brother do what he's supposed to do. Or a brother has to go to the oppressor to make a sister do what she's supposed to do. Give me Tobit chapter 8 real quick. Let me see if I can get this. Tobit chapter 8.
That was deep.
Huh?
I like that.
That's heavy, right?
Okay.
It's light, but it's heavy at the same time. That's the problem, right? If we learn how to treat each other as people, right, then now we wouldn't have half of the problem we have. The law, statutes, and commandments was given to us in order to prevent us from being in the situations that we in now, where we murdering each other every day, where we got 250,000 abortions a year, where we got men that won't take care of their women, women that won't take care of their babies, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on with us? It's all because we have left what the Lord told us to do and how to treat one another. And that's what Christ came back to reinstitute so that we ain't got to go through this foolishness no more. Right? So, you at Baruch 8? Huh? I'm at Tobit chapter 8. Let me see where I want you to start at. This is, if you go back, it's about a woman who she kept getting married, and right before she married the people, she would kill them, right? This happened probably like 6 times. So I think Tobias, hold on, wait a minute. Let me make sure I got the name right. Yeah, Tobias getting ready to marry her. And he done went through this whole little ritual of lighting incense, praying to the Most High that, you know what I'm saying, this thing go right because he really want to marry this sister. And now he's in the chamber where normally she would kill the men that went in there with her, right? The marriage chamber or whatever. So if you go back, you'll see this. I'm just reading chapter 7, verse 17. And when she had done as he had bidden, hold on. And he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father, and he took her by the hand and gave her to be the wife of Tobias, saying, behold, take her after the law of Moses and lead her away to thy father. And he blessed them, right? Context, Tobit 7 and 11. I have given my daughter in marriage to 7 men who died that night they came in unto her. That's a hardcore sister right there. You don't even make it out. You don't even make it out the room, right? Nevertheless, for the present, be merry. But Tobias said, I will eat nothing here till we agree and swear one to another. So he made a declaration with her father. Her father gave him the truth. Like, hey, other people tried to marry her. Didn't go so well. So what was really happening is it was a spirit or a demon, for lack of a better way to explain it, that was coming over the sister, killing the man. Then the demon would leave and she wouldn't know what happened to him. Right? Over and over again, it kept happening. Now, Tobias knew how to get rid of this thing. Right? This is the reason why I'm bringing it. So I'm gonna skip all of that just to go to where I was saying. Right? What did I say? 7. Give me verse 5.
8 and 5 or 7 and 5?
8 and 5.
Tobit chapter 8, verse 5. Then began Tobias to say, Blessed art thou, O God of our fathers, and blessed is thy.
Oh, go to verse 4 real quick. Go to verse 4 real quick.
Tobit chapter 8, verse 4. And after that, they were both shut in together.
Now, he done talked to her father. He done got the okay. He in here with this woman that kills every man that tries to marry her. And now he in here. So now they shut in together. Go ahead.
Come. Tobias rose out of the bed and said, Sister, arise, and let us pray that God will have pity on us.
He ain't stupid. Let us pray. Lord have mercy over me. Go ahead.
Then began Tobias to say, Blessed art thou, O God of our fathers, and blessed is thy holy and glorious name forever. Let the heaven bless thee and all thy creatures.
Right. Keep going.
Come. Thou madest Adam and gavest him Eve, his wife, for an helper and stay. Of them came mankind. So
like he going back all the way to the beginning of the first recorded marriage in the Bible, right? Go ahead.
Thou hast said, it is not good that man should be alone. Let us make unto him an aid like unto himself.
Now, I see people do this all the time, and it is a very good thing to have, right? Sometimes when we pray, we'll pray like Psalms 83, Psalm 121, the same prayers that David prayed. So what he's doing is going back in the scriptures to what marriage is supposed to be and explaining it while he's praying to the Most High, like, hey, God, you said this was a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And now, O Lord, I take not this my sister for lust, but uprightly.
Here's the point what I was trying to make, and this is where I was trying to come to. But now, O Lord, I take not this my sister. Now, is this his sister? In what aspect is this his sister?
In the spiritual aspect of being an Israelite.
Of being an Israelite. That's what it is. I just met Bruni last week. That's my sister. She's been my sister. She don't know she my sister, right? But we have a common ancestor. Anytime I see a Black or Hispanic woman, I'll be like, Shalom, sis. And they be like, I don't know you, sis. I speak to people like that. The girl at my job, she's Puerto Rican. And I was like, sis. The girl that I met in the store, she was going to do my hair. I was like, sis. And she didn't understand why. She was like, you calling me sis like we've known each other all our lives, right? But to me, I'm looking at her as my family. That's what it is. Remember when Jacob got his wives from his uncle Lot, it was customary for Israelites to marry somewhere close within their family. Now, not brothers and sisters, but like second, third cousins was fine because you knew that they had a bloodline and they was raised in the same culture that you was under. Now, when you meet a woman, You might have been raised one way, and she might have been raised a whole nother way. You have no clue how she was raised. They always told me in the world, if you want to see how she gonna be, look at her mama. If you want to see how she gonna be, look at her mama. Is her mama a good wife, or is her mama from man to man, or whatever the case may be? All right, so he's saying this, right? And now, oh Lord, I take this, my sister. No, I take not this woman who is my sister for lust, but uprightly. What does that mean, Yamayan? I take not this my sister for lust, but uprightly.
So he's having sex with her to make her his wife.
Is there something wrong with a man lusting after a woman? There's something wrong with a man lusting after a woman. Give me the precept. The one you thinking of that made you say yes.
I'm looking it up right now.
All right. Bruno, you think it's something wrong with a man lusting after a woman?
No.
She says no.
1 John chapter 2, verse 16.
Read it for me.
1 John chapter 2, verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father.
That is not where I thought you was going. But the lust of the flesh is in the world. But, okay. All right. I thought you was going to Christ where he said a man lusting after a woman, right? Have already dealt with her in his mind, right?
I didn't think about it.
That's what I thought you was going. And I was going to break it down to you what Christ was saying. You should not lust after another man's woman. But if this woman is not married and she's beautiful and gorgeous, how would you ever marry her if you didn't desire her first? You understand? Yeah, it's fine to lust after a woman, but that is not a good reason to have sex with a woman because you desire her based on what she looks like. What he's saying here is, I take not my sister for only because I like the way she looked, but uprightly, meaning I am going to take care of the responsibility that comes with dealing with this woman. You understand, right? All right, go ahead and keep reading.
Therefore, mercifully, Slaki, ordain that we may become aged together.
What? Read that again. What?
Therefore, mercifully, ordain that we may become aged together.
Become aged together. Here's the point. Marriage is supposed to be forever, and sex is marriage. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? You are never supposed to have sex with somebody that you would not want to become aged together. But nobody sees it that way. Here's the reason for child support, right? Because after she's got what she wants from him, or vice versa, he's got what he wants from her, now they're looking at each other differently because they no longer have the desire because they already got what they want. But if that relationship was built on honor, trust, respect, loyalty, brotherhood, sisterhood, then they would have all of these other things incorporate that makes a person stay with somebody even when they don't want to. Right? Okay. How many couples you know say, I ain't really feeling them no more, but I'm going to stick with them for the kids. I'm going to stay with them for the sake of the kids. People do that who are smart, but it ain't supposed to even be like that either, right? That desire that you have for a man or a woman, you should first understand that this is family. So no matter what happens from this point on, you're going to have to treat them like family. And if people went into it with that, there would be no need for child support at all. You can keep reading.
Verse 8, and she said with him, Amen.
So she praying the same thing. But her amen to that was that we might become aged together is that she ain't kill him because she had done killed 7 others. She's like, so be it. Please, Lord, let me not kill this fool. So you'll keep reading and talk about how they woke up the next morning and he was still alive. He did some things like lit incense and ointments and went to her father and did all these things right by this woman. And he actually ended up marrying this woman and they had a marriage. All right. So I went through that because we don't refer to brothers and sisters as family before we deal with them. Like we don't want to, I don't know this person, let me meet them so I can have sex with them. And then once we finish having sex, we don't have nothing to do with each other. And that's the problem. That is the problem. And that is not the way it was supposed to be. All right. So I think I gave you a couple on it. You get the point, right? Ain't no such thing as child support. You are supposed to support your children, but you should never have to go to your oppressor, or a woman should never have to go to her oppressor to get a man to support his child. And if she does, that just means she does not want you to be a part of that child's life. She just want to make sure she gets the money to take care of that child. And there is plenty of things that's way more important than money when it comes to raising a child and supporting a child. All right, so that's my answer. Any questions? Nope. All right. Any other questions off that topic? Nope. What's this? What's 2nd Ezra chapter 1? What is that? Let's see. It'd be 2nd Ezra 1 and 4. Just go to 13 real quick.
1:13?
Yeah, just 1 to 13.
Okay. 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 13. I led you through the sea, and in the beginning gave you a large and safe passage. I gave you Moses for a leader, and Aaron for a priest. I gave you light and a pillar of fire, and great wonders have I done among you. Yet ye have forgotten me, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Almighty Lord, the quails were as a token to you. I gave you tents for your safeguard. Nevertheless, ye murmured there.
So this is the Lord breaking down all of the things that he done for us when we was coming out of Egypt, right? You keep reading. He talking about the quails. He talking about moving the Canaanites and the Perizzites out of our way and giving us land and different things like that, right? Go to verse 25. No, go to verse 24.
Come on, God. Verse 24. What shall I do unto thee, O Jacob? Thou, Judah, wouldst not obey me. I will turn me to other nations, and unto those will I give my name, that they may keep my statutes.
Wait. What shall I do, O Jacob? Thou, Judah, wouldst not obey me. I will turn me to other nations, and unto those will I give my name, that they may keep my statutes. Uh-oh. What other nations? Don't worry about it. Keep going now. Go to verse 25.
Go.
You know why I'm asking that question, right? If a Christian hit you with that and you're in the ISUPK stating that the Lord only deals with Israel, how would you deal with that?
Well,
Don't go nowhere, right? How would you deal with that? Keep reading. I'll tell you in a minute.
Verse 25. Seeing ye have forsaken me, I will forsake you also. And ye desired me to be gracious unto you, I shall have no mercy upon you. Whensoever ye shall call upon me, I will not hear you. For ye have defiled your hands with blood, and your feet are swift to commit manslaughter.
This is just a sad, sad thing. Ain't it? Why would anybody want to read this? Why? The scriptures say what was written aforetime was written for our learning, that we may have hope. What we're supposed to do is learn from our mistakes and never do them again. The problem is all of the stuff that he said we did to him came after all of the stuff he said he did for us. He led us out of Egypt. He gave us Moses. He gave us Aaron. He gave us the quail out the sky and rain manna from heaven and all of this, and we still went against what he told us to do. That is a problem, right? So now, let me see. Anyways, I'm gonna just leave it right there because he just keeps going on and he talks about all the leaders he gave us, all the things, and he also talks about all of the curses that would come upon us for not doing this, right? One of those curses we was talking about last week, it was about us being scattered and being oppressed by other nations, right? So this did not only happen to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. This also happened to the northern tribes, which would be Ephraim, Naphtali, Gad, Reuben. Who else? Give me some other ones. Issachar, Manasseh. All of these tribes, right? Now, when did this happen? Today is so-called Indigenous Peoples Day. Indigenous Peoples Day. Originally called Christopher Columbus Day, right? Let's get some background or some history on Christopher Columbus. Why is this a big deal? And what does it have to do with the truth? Brother, you can tell them where you at. You got the article? Go ahead with the article.
I am reading from Understanding Prejudice, Christopher Columbus, The Untold Story.
Understanding Prejudice is the name of it. All right, so this article, these people are not in the truth or anything like that. We're just only using this as for a little bit of history about what was really going on when Christopher Columbus came to the United States. Because what we was told is Christopher Columbus was searching to find out if the world was flat or the world was round, and he was going to go the other way, come back to the West Indies, and prove that the world was round. And that's what they told me. Did they tell y'all the same thing? Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go into history and see what really was going on, because a lot of this people do not know. Go ahead.
Oh, God. Christopher Columbus, The Untold Story. Mm-hmm. Many people are surprised to learn that Christopher Columbus and his men enslaved native inhabitants of the West Indies.
Wait a minute. How's it just going to start off like that? Why would they just start off like that? That's crazy, right? You just go, that's how you're going to start? All right. Okay. Read it again.
Come on. Many people are surprised to learn that Christopher Columbus and his men enslaved native inhabitants of the West Indies.
Who was already over here when Christopher Columbus got here? Native inhabitants. Native inhabitants. As far as my people goes, I would say that would be Gad, right? That would be the Taino Indians, who are the Puerto Ricans now, right? That would also be Reuben. That would also be who's the Seminole Indians? Was that Reuben? Reuben, Gad, Simeon. I don't know about Simeon. Simeon might not have been over here. They might have came on the streets. But anyways, there were people that was already over here. How do we know? If I could play this thing, I don't really know how to do it. I'm gonna see if I can play it though. I always try to look it up and I don't never get it all right ahead of time. Oh, I see why it won't work. Go ahead and keep reading.
Force them to convert to Christianity and subdue them with violence in an effort to seek riches. For readers who are skeptical or wish to learn, that's what I'm talking about.
Huh?
Tell me when they go to learn more about the sources.
Yeah.
And skip down to In Pursuit of Prophets.
Okay.
In Pursuit of Prophets, on April 17, 1492, before his first voyage to the Americas, Columbus negotiated a business contract with King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain.
So now, just like everything that you ever knew about, it all leads back to money. That's what it was all about. There's no doubt about it. Read it again. Mm-hmm.
On April 17, 1492, before his first voyage to the Americas, Columbus negotiated a business contract with King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain.
So before he left, he negotiated a contract with Queen Isabella, right?
Okay.
And what is his name?
King Ferdinand.
King Ferdinand of Spain. Go ahead.
Entitling him to 10% of all profits. In this contract, the Spanish sovereigns agreed that of all and every kind of merchandise, whether pearls, precious stones, gold, silver, spices, and other objects and merchandise whatsoever, of whatever kind, name, and sort, which may be bought, bartered, discovered, acquired, and obtained within the limits of the said Admiralty, your Highness grant from now henceforth to the said Don Cristobal.
What does that mean?
What you mean?
No, what does that mean that we talking about?
Anything he finds of any kind of any sort, he gets 10% to keep for himself.
There it is right there, right? Let me show y'all something. Let me see if I can get it on here. This is on YouTube. It might play. Let me see if it'll play.
Why do you wish to sail west? To open a new route to Asia.
So he said, why did you wish
Asia
to
is the
sail
richest
west? This is 1492, right? The movie, 1492. Anybody can look this up. This is a conversation that he's having. Why do you wish to sail west? The first answer he gives is Asia. Hold on. Let me get it. Let me go back a little bit. I'm going to go back a little bit. If y'all wanted to see it, I could let y'all see it. But all you got to do is look up Christopher Columbus.
Why do you wish to sail west? To open a new route to Asia.
To find a new route to Asia.
Asia is the richest kingdom, the land of spices and gold.
The land of spices and gold.
At the moment, there are only two ways of reaching it.
At the moment, there are two ways of reaching it. Go ahead.
By sea, sailing around the African continent. The journey takes a year. Or by land. But the Turks have closed this route to all Christians. There is a third way.
Why did he say the Turks have closed it to all Christians? Why would that have anything to do with Christopher Columbus? Remember, this is 1492, long after the Council of Nicaea, right? Crusades, all of this stuff. Why would he say there's another way, but the Turks have closed it to all Christians? What would that have to do with Christopher Columbus? Let me keep going. He said there is a third way, by sailing west across the ocean sea.
By sailing west across the ocean sea. The distance is unknown. It's said to be infinite.
The distance is unknown. It's said to be infinite.
Superstition. I believe the Indies are no more than 750 leagues west of the Canary Islands. Can you be so certain? The calculations of Toscanelli, Marin de Tir.
He said he only believes that a certain amount of ways are after these islands that's off the coast, right, of Africa. And he said, how can you be so certain? He starts naming people. Let me go back to the names, because these are not people that I've heard. He said Toscanelli, Marin de Tir.
Toscanelli, Marin de Tir. Esdras. Esdras is a Jew.
Esdras. And he says Esdras is a Jew.
So what's worse? 2 minutes, and already you're a dead man.
Esdras is a Jew. What is he talking about? Why wouldn't he believe a Jew? Let me get this out of here, however you do it. All right. Esdras is a Jew. What is he talking about? Let's go there real quick. Nah, go ahead and keep reading. We'll go there a little bit later. Here's why I brought that up, right? First thing, he was trying to get to Asia for gold, riches, spices, is what he said in this 1492 movie, which is what they got from Christopher Columbus' own diaries. Why he came over here in the first place was riches. What Yamayan just read to you, he had a business deal that everything that he found on this voyage, he would give to Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, as long as he can get his 10% off top. Right? So it's about money. And we also found out that Christopher Columbus was a Christian. Right? All right, keep reading.
The 10th part of a whole, after deducting all the expenses which may be incurred therein. After his fourth and final voyage to the Americas, Columbus summed up his feelings about gold in a July 7, 1503 letter to Ferdinand and Isabella. Gold is most excellent. Gold is treasure, and he who possesses it does all he wishes to in this world. After turning out the Jews.
Hold on. Read that. This is how he summed up everything that he's doing from 1492 all the way to what is it? 1507? 1503. All right, go ahead. Gold is what?
Gold is most excellent. Gold is treasure, and he who possesses it does all he wishes to in this world.
Let me translate that into modern English. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. That's what he summed up all this trip and hard work up to. If it ain't about the money, don't be hitting me up. If it ain't about the money, don't be all of my lies. Stop wasting my time. I ain't even hear what you say. Go ahead, man. Let me start tripping.
Miss me with it.
Miss me with it. You can miss me with it. Go ahead.
After turning out the Jews, beyond prophets, Columbus sought to convert native people to Catholicism.
To what?
Catholicism.
So beyond him getting some money, he also sought to do what?
Convert native people to Catholicism.
Convert the people that he came across into Catholicism. Why nobody ever told us this? Keep reading.
And the prologue to this journal to the first voyage, Columbus wrote to Ferdinand and Isabella, Your Highnesses, as Catholic Christians and princes who love the holy Christian faith and the propagation of it, and who are enemies to the sect of Mahoma, which is Islam, and to all idolatries and heresies resolved to send me, Cristobal Colon, to the said parts of India to see the said princes, with a view that they might be converted to our holy faith.
All right, so look, the other bottom line. The bottom line was money. Then the other part is to convert the people that was already over here into their holy faith. Keep reading.
Come. Thus, after having turned out all the Jews from all your kingdoms and lordships.
Why is it saying that there are Jews over here? What are they doing here? How did they beat Columbus here? Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter. No, second. Well, I got it. Hold on. Hold up. Did I close it? I think I closed it. No, I didn't. 2nd Ezra chapter 13. But you was already there?
Come.
2nd Ezra chapter 13. Let me get there real quick. See where I want you to start. It's going to be somewhere around verse 40. All right, 39. Let's go at 39.
Second Ezra, chapter 13, verse 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king.
All right, so stop right there. This is talking about the 10 tribes that was carried away prisoners. You got the chart in there?
Come.
You had it already pulled up? Or the table of nations or the tribes of Israel? Let me get that. Let me get that out. All right. If you know anything about the children of Israel, it's 2 Kings chapter 17. There was a split in the kingdom. All Israel was supposed to be one nation, right? The Lord put one king over them. It was Saul, and then it was David, and then it was Solomon. The 2 Kings, 9.5 of the tribes, or 9 tribes, said, we don't want to follow this king. We going our own route. And they scat and took half of the priests, which was the Levites, with them. You know what I'm saying? This is what we call the northern kingdom, or the children of Ephraim, or the house of Israel. The 2.5 tribes that stayed, which was Judah, Benjamin, and the other half of Ephraim, was the southern kingdom, or the house of Judah. So you had the house of Judah and you had the house of Israel. So this 9.5 tribe was called 10 tribes. So what they're talking about in 2nd Ezra, it says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king. If you read the Bible, you're familiar with history. The Jews, the house of Israel, which is the northern tribes, which consisted of Issachar, Naphtali, Asher, Reuben, Gad, Manasseh, Ephraim, Zebulun, and Simeon. They went into captivity up under Hosea the king, right? And this is talking about this in 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Keep reading after that.
Come. Whom Salmanaser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land.
So they was carried over the waters by the Assyrians into another land, right? The Bible doesn't specifically say what that land was. We could say, or we could come to the conclusion it was South America, just based on the Mayans, the Aztecs, and all of those people who had Israelite culture wrapped in a bunch of paganism that they learned from the Assyrians and Babylonians and so on and so forth. Y'all following me, right? Did I lose you, Bruni?
No.
Okay, all right.
Learning.
All right. So they carried him away into another land. Now, once they got there under the Assyrians, this is verse 41. Go ahead.
But they took the counsel amongst themselves that they would that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a farther country where never mankind dwelt.
So now what they did, running from the captors that brought them over to that other land, over the seas, that they would leave where the heathens was and go into a further land where never mankind dwelt. Now, if we're talking about everything blowing up out of Africa, Israel, everywhere, you got, you know what I'm saying, Asia, they know about all this stuff, but he don't even know in 1492 what's over here. He thinking he in going this way to get to the Indies, Asia.
Those aren't the ones referring when you say the heathen?
Yeah. No, they're talking about the Assyrians that brought them over here. He said,
heathen, what is heathen?
what is that word? What does heathen mean?
Oh, I thought it was another.
Huh? It is.
So it's another, up to the heathen, or probably I'm mistaken, it was like, the other country that now is Israelite, right?
Right. That's what heathen means.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're saying that the Assyrians brought them over here as slaves. So they wanted to escape from them to go further into a country where nobody dwelt so that they could try to keep the commandments because they was not keeping them in their own land. You get it? That's what they were saying. So it just talks about them going further into a country where never mankind dwelt. They running from either North America to South America or South America to North America. Depends on which way they landed first, right? You can keep going and read that if you want. You can go ahead and read it out. Well, we can skip that part. All it just does is tell you how long it took to get there from where they was at, somewhere like a year. You know what I'm saying? A year and a half. And the same region is called, in this book, it says Arsareth. We think it's a mistranslation, and it was Aratazah. I can't prove that, so I just can say it, but I can't teach it that way. All right, because it don't say exactly where this land was. It don't say where it was, but we do know that one of the people that when Christopher Columbus was coming over here, that he said he got this information from was Esdras, and we go into Second Esdras, and this information is here. All right, so you can keep going up.
After turning out the Jews, beyond prophets, Columbus sought to convert the native people to Catholicism. In the prologue to his journal of the first voyage, Columbus wrote to Ferdinand and Isabella, "Your Highness, as Catholic Christians and princes who love the holy Christian faith and the propagation of it, and who are enemies of the sect of Mahomet, and to all idolatries and heresies, resolve to send me, Cristobal Colon, to the said parts of the India to see the said princes, with a view that they might be converted to our holy faith. Thus, after having turned out all the Jews from all your kingdoms and lordships, your highnesses gave orders to me that with sufficient fleet I should go to the said parts of India. I shall forget sleep and shall work at the business of navigation so that the service is performed."
This is a crusade mission. And in which whatever he finds, he's going to steal, pick it up, take it back to Spain. So Christopher Columbus, Cristobal, has a Israelite on his ship with a map from the Moors showing him how to get over here. Now this Moor, I'm using that word Moor because that's the word that they would write in history as opposed to saying a black man. So I'm using the word they use, right? He knew that it was a whole nother land over here before they left. It's just, when did he decide to let Christopher Columbus know that they wasn't going to India at all. It was a whole nother land over here. All right, so that was another one. They had already sold this map to the white man for white women. That's documented in history. That's not in the Bible. All right, so keep going.
The enslavement of native people.
Yeah.
On October 12, 1492, the first day he encountered the native people of the Americas, Columbus wrote in his journal, "They should be good servants."
They should be what?
Good servants.
That's the first thing he wrote when he encountered the people that was over here. Now, if you wonder why a lot of the Native Americans were taken into these places and why Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans all speak Spanish, Christopher Columbus was coming from Spain. That's why we don't like to call our brothers and sisters Spanish, because they could be mistaken as the conquistadors and the people that came over here and enslaved them, as opposed to the children of Israel from the northern tribes that were enslaved by the Spanish. No different than we were enslaved by the English. That's why we speak English. But we don't call ourselves Englishmen. Right? Right. And now coming back to this, you'll find out that those people that he enslaved, he ended up taking them back to Spain. And that was the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade. So before there was any niggas picked up on Africa, you took what is now either the Native American Indians, right, back over to Spain as gifts to Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand. So that was the first transport before there was ever us. It was our brothers and sisters from the northern tribes. Then when he started to come back over here, then they got the getting sold, by the Africans to the Spanish or the Spaniards to the French, which is who dropped off their slaves or picked up and dropped them off in Haiti and conquered Haiti. Florida is Spanish. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these South, that was Spanish. And then you got Haiti, which was French, owned by France. And then you got the English people who colonized the colonies, right? So this is a big deal right here. Christopher Columbus and what he did to come over here and to change the native people who had already been in Assyrian captivity, who was not living by the law, statutes, and commandments. This is how they were able to go into slavery up under the Assyrians, just getting out of slavery to try to come back and do the law, statutes, and commandments, now taken into slavery again by the Spanish and the Spaniards. It's crazy, right? So now, in America, they celebrate this fool. He's giving his own day, Christopher Columbus Day.
In Puerto Rico, they think they're so proud that Christopher Columbus and discovered Puerto Rico, and so proud and celebrating.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
They most for different things that they was, they should celebrate him because he discovered Puerto Rico.
Oh, is that right? Mm-hmm. It's a book called Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, and it shows when the first white people got there over there. It don't say where they was at, but they was in the land already speaking Hebrew, right? And they said our brothers and sisters from the tribe of Reuben are in the next island over, right? When I went to the Hispanic Heritage Festival last year, it might have been, I think it was last. No, they didn't have it last year because of COVID. So this was the year before that, and that video is still up. I met a sister whose mama was Dominican and her father was Puerto Rican. It might be the other way around. And I talked to her and I asked her, did you know that our Hispanic brothers and sisters went in bondage on ships, like it says in Deuteronomy 28, as a part of the Atlantic slave trade, just like black people in America? And she said no, she never heard that in her life. Most of our Hispanic brothers and sisters do not know that they were a part of the Atlantic slave trade at all. They would always tell you that it's only black people being taken from Africa brought over here, but they had already ran over here from the Assyrians and was being taken back to Spain as gifts, because what they would call you as a Native American or indigenous person. Well, the Puerto Rican people come from the Taino Indians who was already over here before the slave trade started and was being part of the people that was being taken back to Spain as well as gifts. So here's my point. Christopher Columbus is evil, right? And part of people that stole our book. Like in Christianity, original Christians were black people. Christ was black, right? If you go to the Ethiopian Coptic, the oldest Bible, when they came into Africa to try to give them the doctrine of Christianity, they was like, we don't need it. We already got it already. Like, this is where Paul was going into Asia Minor and all of these different places in the first century teaching Christ. He was going to where the Jews were who were living outside of the land. We just read that last week. They left for merchants and also to run from captivity up under the Romans and the Greeks. So I do not rock with Christopher Columbus at all. He was as big a part of the problem that we have now, to where our Hispanic brothers and sisters don't know their heritage as the Africans was who sold us to the white man, and the reason why we don't know our heritage. All right, so I don't know if anybody got any questions. Is it more to that?
Oh, no.
Go ahead and keep reading that. We'll just keep reading that so y'all can see my point. Forgot where you was at?
No, sorry. I got it. They should be good servants.
Mm-hmm.
I, our Lord, being pleased, will take hence at the time of my departure 6 natives for your highnesses.
So the first time he went back to Spain, he only took 6. Go ahead.
These captives were later parted through the streets of Barcelona and Seville when Columbus returned to Spain.
So when they got him back over there to Spain, they like paraded them through the streets. Like, look, we got 6 people from the Americas. That's crazy, yo. Go ahead, man.
From his very first contact with native people, Columbus had their domination in mind. For example,
read it again.
From his very first contact with native people, Columbus had their domination in mind. For example, on October 14, 1492, Columbus wrote in his journal, with 50 men, they can all be subjugated and made to do what is required of them. So
he's already requesting, let's get some more men over here and we can make them do whatever we need. And that'll be all it'll take for us to overthrow them, right? I don't know if it's got in there where he was talking about these people are nice and all of this, they would make good servants. I think you read that part, right? In the journal, if you go into it, it'll talk about how they was not even thinking about war, right? But Christopher Columbus was. You know what I'm saying? So give me Psalms 55 and 21. You could keep reading where you at right now.
Gonna go to Psalms.
Nah, just keep reading where you at. We'll go there.
With 50 men, they could all be subjugated and made to do what is required of them. These were not mere words. After his second voyage, Columbus sent back a consignment of natives to be sold as slaves.
You see that? Good old Christopher Columbus enslaving our brothers and sisters. Damn. Go ahead.
Yet, in an April 1493 letter to Luis de Santiago, a patron who helped fund the first voyage, Columbus made clear that the people he encountered had done nothing to deserve ill treatment.
What?
Columbus made clear that the people he encountered had done nothing to deserve ill treatment.
Keep going.
Khan. According to Columbus, they are artless and generous with what they have.
That's what I was looking for right there. So these people accepted them, right? If you go into, oh man, these some of the things that we pull out during Thanksgiving, where they talks about how the natives welcomed the white man and showed him how to till and got rid of so that the mosquitoes and everything wouldn't kill him, how to survive. And they took and pillaged the whole damn place. Go ahead.
They gave us blankets with smallpox.
They gave them blankets with the smallpox and everything. Now, why would they do that? I'll answer you. When you hear us say things like the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, this is what we're talking about right here. This man said these people have done nothing to deserve this, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to kill them. We're going to enslave them. And they are a generous kind. What did it say? Read this. This is out of Columbus's journal.
According to Columbus, they are artless and generous with what they have, to such a degree as no one would believe.
You wouldn't believe how nice these people have been to us. That's crazy, bro. Give me, oh man, go ahead. Just keep going. I got so many scriptures in my head. Go ahead.
Khan. To such a degree as no one would believe but him who had seen it. Of anything they have, if it be asked for, they never say no, but do rather invite the person to accept it and show as much lovingness as though they would give their hearts. Nonetheless, what does nonetheless mean?
But anyways, go ahead.
Later in the letter, Columbus went to say, their highnesses may see that I shall give them as much gold as they need, and slaves as many as they shall order to be shipped.
As many slaves y'all want, I'll take them right on to you for the sake of this money that we about to get. We gonna be rich. Is there anything else that got something to do with him converting them to?
The next one is the Pope gives the Americas to Spain.
Let's get a little bit of that. I ain't got that much time for that, but go ahead, skip down to that. We got the point, right? Columbus was a heartless bastard that enslaved my brothers and sisters. That's what we got. Go ahead.
Khan. Pope gives the Americas to Spain.
Who gives it to him?
Pope.
The Pope. So now remember, he came over here with Roman Catholicism. This was not a religion that our forefathers followed. They did believe in Christ. They did believe in the Bible. But this thing was all taken, and the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was changed into Jesus in 325 AD. In other words, when Christ, the first followers of Christ knew that he was a man, and they considered him the Son of God. And then now he was changed into God. And Christianity that they're talking about in Catholicism is a whole nother religion than one that's in the Bible and the one that people follow prior to this. Y'all understand, right?
Okay.
You can follow that? Okay. All right, cool. Go ahead.
Okay.
So by the time you got the popes, what they following is a religion more so than what we follow here, which is a bloodline and law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
Okay. Following Columbus's discovery, Pope Alexander VI issued a May 4, 1493 papal bull granting official ownership of the New World to Ferdinand and Isabella.
So the Pope, right? And what?
1493.
In 1493, he gave them what? He issued a papal bull, right?
Granting official ownership to the New World, of the New World to Ferdinand and Isabella.
So now the Pope gave Ferdinand and Isabella of Spain ownership of this land, and the Pope probably had never even been over here. Right? That's crazy how they do that. How they get to do that? Well, the scriptures say the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? That's what it is, right? The Lord is allowing this thing because we were supposed to be the people that ruled over the earth using the law, statutes, and commandments and rules that he gave to only us. But because we would not, now other nations, heathens, Gentiles, whatever word you want to use, now they get a chance to rule the world and part it for themselves. Ain't that something? More to it, keep going.
Okay. To these monarchs, the Pope declared, we of our own motion and not at your solicitation do give, concede, and assign forever to you and your successors all the islands and mainlands discovered and which may hereafter be discovered towards the west and south.
Now, keep in mind there was already people over here when Christopher Columbus got here in 1492. Nevertheless, the Pope gives Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand all of everything they find over here, and that's Spain. So when you wonder and you finding out why the Spanish influence, I go to Orlando, right? Orlando. What does Orlando mean in Spanish?
Orlando?
Yeah, it means something. Florida. What's Florida? Flowers, something of flowers, I think. Okay, it might be because it's the Spanish that comes from Spain and not the Spanish that comes from Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
It's a different, like the English we speak here is not English. For instance, water. Water is the proper way to pronounce water.
My daughter-in-law she's a Benjamin, and that's the way they say water.
Water, right. That's the proper English way to say it. Don't nobody I know say it like that. A woman said that. A sister said that to me. And I was like, why you say it like that? She was like, that's the proper way to say it. And I couldn't argue with her. She was speaking English, which we don't speak. Right? So my point in what I'm saying is all of this stuff, they have Spanish backgrounds based on the Pope giving this land to Spain and everybody that they came in contact with. Go ahead. I know Puerto Rico means rich port in Spanish, though.
And which may hereafter be discovered towards the west and the south, whether they be situated towards India or towards any other part whatsoever, and give you absolute power in them.
So this is the papal bull. How far does it go down? It's more to this?
The last part of that.
What's the last part?
The next part just talks about the decree.
All right, we don't got to get into that. I think we got to the point. Let me get Psalms. That's Psalms 50. Was it 50 and 20? Psalms 50, 55 and 20. Let's get a little bit of this thing, right?
Psalms chapter 55, verse 20.
Yeah. He
has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
Uh-oh. Remember, these are the kindest, gentlest people. They have done nothing to be treated misfairly, right? He has put forth his hands, what?
Against such as be at peace with him.
Yeah, this is your oppressor right here. He had put forth his hands against such that be at peace with him, right? We've been loving our oppressor for 400 years. He had put forth his hands against us. Keep going.
Okay. He have broken his covenant.
He had broken his covenant. The white man made over 100 treaties with the Native American Indian. Guess how many of them he kept? 0. None of them. He broke every last one of them. Read that part again.
He have put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
Okay.
He have broken his covenant.
Keep going.
Come on. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Uh-huh.
But war was in his heart.
See that?
Nevertheless.
That's the nevertheless. They ain't done nothing wrong. Nevertheless, I'm going to bring you as many as you need. You know what I'm saying? His words were smooth, but war was in his heart. Go ahead.
Come on. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Here's my point in bringing this out, right? What we have to understand is who we are as a people. The nation of Israel, the children of Israel, right? And what the Lord said about these people in the Bible and what he said about us. We were supposed to be a nation of kings and priests, but have been down or oppressed to the point where we destroyed, to the point where we are a nation of servants, a nation of servants, where they would say handmaids and carpenters and whatever we do for a living, trying to go into our oppressor for want and need of all things. So when you see what your oppressor is celebrating in their history, they are celebrating victory over you. That's what they celebrate. Victory over you. And they're doing it right in your face. And if you ever celebrate victory, that's what we're doing at the Passover, which will be in Florida, by the way. I wish I could say get a Lord a hand, but we're in the library, right? So we will be celebrating the Lord giving us victory over those stinking Africans who oppressed us in Egypt, right? So we will be celebrating this thing. We don't have many victories to celebrate because we have constantly broke the Lord's laws over and over and over again. All right. Give me Deuteronomy 11 and 16. Scriptures say, envy not your oppressor and choose none of his ways. That's not where we're going right now. I'm bringing that out to say this. Just find out what it is they really celebrating when they celebrating these holidays, right? What are they celebrating with Martin Luther King? Why would he have his own day out of all the black people? They didn't even like him. They shot him in the head. Why would they give him his own holiday?
Because he was able to fool us and follow him.
Into following them. That's correct. And to becoming a part of their society, and opposed to having our own society, which every other race of people on the planet has. And nobody says to the Arabs, because they stick with Arabs, nobody says to the Chinese, because they stick with Chinese, that they're racist. Couldn't we just be protecting ourselves from going through what our ancestors and our forefathers went through? He put forth his hand with them that be at peace with him. We can't go to war with them, so our thing is to learn how to love each other, all right? Deuteronomy 11 and 16.
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 16. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived.
Don't be deceived. Remember, we always translate that word, this devil, meaning deceiver. So when we talk about our oppressor being the devil, we ain't talking about a little red man with a pitchfork, right? Who's just poking you, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about deceiving people. They came over here with hands drawn like me and Yama Young gonna be friends. I'm reaching out my friend, shake my hand. That's how he did us, right? And then everything they said after that was a lie. His words were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, is what the scriptures just read, right? So take heed to yourself that you be not deceived. When you know what a devil is, a deceiver, then you know how to deal with them. Don't believe nothing they say. That's the key part. Don't believe nothing they say. They lined up for hours and waited in line to go and vote for Joe Biden. He was going to change things for our people, right? They did the same thing with Barack Obama.
So after 8 years, he did nothing.
Here's what I'm telling you. People will deceive you if you allow them to. This is what the Bible says. Take heed of yourself that your heart be not deceived. You see that word heart in the Bible, it means mind, right? And keep going.
Come. And ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them.
Don't do that. Don't follow somebody else. Turn aside and serve other gods. That's a small g. That means idols. That means other powers within the earth that are not the Most High. All right? Give me Galatians in the New Testament, chapter 6. When you know who the devil is, then you know how to deal with them. But here's the thing about God. He's just, right? We can't get justice for George Floyd, Botham Jean, Karen, what her name is? Corinne Gaines, Jordan, what's the dude that got shot? Jordan Davis, Keegan Roberts. I mean, I could go on and on. These are all people that were murdered in America, and the judge and the court system did not give them justice, right? Trayvon Martin, so on and so forth. It does not stop. But this is what the Bible says about how we follow a just God. He ain't forgot about none of it. Read.
I'm starting verse 1.
Nope, verse 7.
Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Those things that have happened in the past, the Lord's seen them all. He's seen them all. And now he's calling for us, and I'm talking about men, to come back and keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. And he can raise us up to being the righteous nation, that we will be a just nation following Christ. Remember in the scriptures, it said Christ would judge the nations not by his own authority, but justice, like be a righteous judge among the nations, right? Is it Revelations 13 and 9? Give me Revelations 13 and 9 real quick, and I got to shut it off. Revelations 13 and 9. I believe that's what it is. He that have an ear, let him hear. Go ahead, read it.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Yeah.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Y'all hear that. Keep going.
Come on. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Keep going.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
This is the patience and the faith of the saints. This is it. This is what we're waiting on. For us to not be in captivity up under another nation anymore, but to be able to serve our God the way he intended for us to serve without anybody saying that something wrong with us doing it. That's all we want. You'll tell us we wrong for serving our God when everybody else served their God without a problem. Why can't we keep the Sabbath? Why can't we get our high holy days off that the Lord told us to be off? Why can't we learn how to govern each other using the laws of God as opposed to having to put men on child support to pay for their damn kids? It's their kids. We should be able to govern ourselves using the law, statutes, and commandments of this Bible. And that's the patience and the faith of the saints. And that those people who did anything to the Lord's children will get what they gave out. So I'm going to end the broadcast here online. I think Captain Shawar should be starting his class in the next few minutes. And we'll be in that class. And for everybody that's in Jacksonville, you can call 904-405-5183. All right. And we'll have this class on Mondays at 5 o'clock until further notice. It'll either be here in 103rd Library, West Connect, or it'll be in Brentwood. All right. With that, shalom.